All right, MMA After Hour time. Time to let our hair down. Time to get freaky deaky. No time to waste. Time now for everyone's favorite segment.
And now it's time to open up your ears and your minds, MMA fans. It's time for Rick's Picks.
Rick's Picks.
Rick's Picks are lots of fun, and his hair is in a bun, cause it's, you already know what it is.
Rick's Picks.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. It's the new craze taking the world by storm. Live from the Vox Studios in beautiful New York City, it's time for
Rick's Picks.
What is that?
I didn't say a word. Did you notice that?
I did. But what is the move on the end?
I was building up to it, but you missed most of it. Is there a new addition to the Rick's Picks intro? I saw something from the corner of my eye.
What do you mean?
There was something that flew through the screen. Can I see that again?
What?
That was incredible. Yes. Wow. Where did that come from?
Never again.
That was phenomenal.
Never again.
We use that as a transition between
again.
Every segment. My neck is killing today.
I'm disgusted after that dreadful bare naked ladies performance.
You know what you're opening yourself up to here. Was that the worst rendition of the Star Spangled Banner?
Combined the two anthems. This might have been the worst sporting.
Well, I didn't think Bare Naked Ladies was all that bad.
It wasn't, but I think they botched the
wording.
As I understand it, they've made the song gender neutral.
Oh yeah, but that's like a thing. That was a law that was passed.
But I think half of them got the memo on that, and half of them didn't.
Oh really? I missed that.
But
I was still, to be honest, I was so fired up from the intro with Kevin Hart. I thought it was one of the most
save that
epic abominations in the history of sport, let alone the NBA. This was one of the worst things I've ever seen, and it offended me. It actually offended me. It offended me. My blood was boiling. Here are these individuals who have finally made it to the pinnacle, the NBA All-Star Game. Poor Giannis Antetokounmpo can't even get his name pronounced correctly. You've got this guy, this comedian, who, if I'm honest, is not even that funny.
Stop it.
He's not even that funny.
Come on.
Oh, my God. What information?
The money speaks.
What information does Kevin Hart have on someone at the NBA offices where they keep trotting him out every single All-Star weekend? It's just enough is enough. And this guy's like, oh, Jimmy Butler, he likes Tupperware. I mean, these were the worst jokes ever. If this is his...
I liked when he said Draymond has a lot of teeth in his mouth. That was pretty funny.
What was this? It was sophomoric.
I thought of this tweet,
lunacy.
But I was late on it. But I wish I had fired it off because it would have been muy fuego. It was you know how he got denied from the dais at the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
The security guards were letting him off. I was going to say something to the effect of, how come that security guard couldn't have stopped this train wreck, preventing him from getting on the stage there. But I thought of it too late, and I didn't fire it off, and I'm sure somebody else thought of it. So anyway.
Sort of like how I blew it, Mr. Israel Adesanya, Fabio. I blew that one. Tough winner.
Yeah.
Elias Theodoro.
Elias, who we had on earlier.
Like an hour earlier.
I mean,
like 30 minutes.
You can't win them all.
That's who he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think they'd both be into that one.
You think so?
What? Who do you think would not be into that one?
I don't know. Well, obviously Elias would be the one I would question, not because of him, but just because Stylebender's
Israel's fresh on the scene. And
yeah.
I think I'll say this: people have to. What am I saying like that?
People.
I think a fighter should consider what does more for them: a win over somebody who's known, or a win over somebody who has a higher ranking. And I think sometimes those things sometimes those things line up together. But in this case, I think a win over Israel, it means something with the level of fanfare and the level of attention that he's bringing. It's the same reason people call out Conor McGregor versus even a champion at certain points. If I was a fighter in the middleweight division, I would be after Israel Adesanya. I would want to get in early on that.
I haven't seen a lot of people call him out.
well, if you've seen his striking, I don't think you probably should be calling him out.
Yeah.
But
and of course, at 12:30, our own Guilherme Cruz reports that Cesar Ferreira has a fight against Carl Robertson. I was thinking of like a good-looking guy and a tough winner. So yeah, I botched that one. But it was interesting that he didn't even know the name. You know,
maybe he did though, and maybe that's part of the
charm.
Yeah, part of the appeal.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll talk about the NBA a little bit more later.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it is time for everybody's favorite segment.
Yes.
So let's roll right into it.
Let us roll.
So there's no other way we could start than this.
Okay.
We've got one, Nate Diaz, featured on the Fox Sports 1 broadcast,
Yes.
puffing on what you now know
Yes.
is a joint.
Is it a joint?
It is a joint.
What about that kid in the background with the smile on his face?
And the ooh,
Yeah.
you got in trouble in class move.
No one does more with less than Nate Diaz. I mean, how long was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Less than 10 seconds,
6,
let's just call it.
And this is literally seconds after Derek Lewis talks about.
Yeah, going long and deep. And
I mean, it's just amazing how he has. Look at this guy. I mean, I believe the kids call him G's. What a G. What a gangster.
I believe the kids call him.
What a moment. I mean, it was just hilarious. The whole thing was just hilarious.
great.
Look at him. I can watch this on loop all day long.
Yeah, just steals the show.
Amazing. Now, a lot of people don't know, and we talked about it last week, he was there to support his friend Yancy Medeiros.
Of course.
He's not the kind of guy who just shows up to random UFC cards.
He wants to watch some good fights, and he's there supporting.
So was
Yancy.
it a joint or was it a blunt?
It is a joint.
Are you sure it wasn't an e-cig?
Oh, boy. See, what you did at the top of the show, I'm sure your Twitter timeline is now filled with
What do you mean?
700 more stoner. No, because you went into this whole thing at the top of the show. What's a blunt? What's a joint?
I honestly
I'm not
don't know.
really sure. I know you don't know, but now
It just
you're
opens me
inviting 700 more stoners to get on there and be like, oh, it's a joint because this wrapping and this, he didn't got the cigar or this. Like, you're welcoming this now by further exploring. Just move on. Forget that, they want to be right about whether it's a joint, a blunt, an e-cig, whatever.
Okay.
And just enjoy the brilliance of Nate Diaz.
No.
'Cause if it was any of those things, it's still beautiful and brilliant.
Do you think the UFC was mad about this?
Unless there's some kind of backlash, no, because everybody's talking about it.
Oh my God.
Unless there was some kind of FCC thing, or unless there was some kind of Fox thing, I can't imagine why you'd be mad. The world is talking about Nate Diaz again. The world is talking about a fighter who hasn't fought in quite a while.
Amazing. Like you remember
keeping himself relevant.
Remember the Woodley thing that happened back in like November? Like he didn't even have to address it, and he's all over the news.
Yeah.
Here he has to sit down for 6 seconds.
Yep.
And he's all over the news.
He knows exactly what he's doing. Shout out to Nate Diaz. Okay, we continue with more crowd highlights from yesterday's event. While Valentina Shevchenko is being highlighted, you mentioned this moment. Leonard Garcia,
incredible,
working on a Rubik's Cube there.
Did you notice that?
I did, yeah.
Oh my God!
I don't know if a lot of people did though, because it was hard to find screenshots or video of this. So, shout out to Eric VT, who had this one. But yeah, Leonard Garcia just getting down and dirty with the Rubik's Cube in the back there.
And am I crazy, or does it look like he's well on his way to figuring it out?
It looks like he's pretty close. Now, we didn't see enough to know if he was sitting there spinning it like those people who solve it in 5 seconds. But maybe Leonard's got the juice.
I believe that. And what is that Generation X?
What are you talking about? Oh, on his shirt?
Is that an Xbox thing?
Maybe. It looks like an old Xbox logo, but maybe it's a gym thing. Who knows?
Anyways, I believe that Leonard could figure that out easily. Of course, he was there to support his good friend, Donald Cerrone, right?
Yeah.
So
clearly paying a lot of attention to the night. And
what a great scene that was. And good to see Valentina getting, she lives, nearby in Houston. So made sense.
Okay. Here we go to a post. This happened during the show, so I'm not sure if you saw this one. Yancy going a little bit into why he embraced Cowboy Cerrone's grandmother. He says, it's a business of entertainment, but my profession will never dictate my personality, maybe my strength/weakness. I am who I am. Give a lot of love and respect. I won't change that. Cerrone pointed at his grandmother. She was calling me over. I'm a family man. I admire family. Even in war, still had to give my aloha. Get better, never bitter. On to the next one. So it was a family thing.
No, listen, I don't want it to come across as me. Do you, Yancy? You're a wonderful human being. Like I'm not criticizing him for this. I was just wondering, did he give him too much, did he give him too much respect? And does that play into Cerrone's hands? Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. I feel like in this case it did. And I know that Dana White doesn't like that sort of thing because he has said it before. And I was just wondering what the backstory was, and now we have the backstory.
Now let me ask you this.
Yes.
Who does it benefit or detract from in terms of the psychological thing if he pretends that he doesn't like Cerrone? Does it make Cerrone less sharp or Yancy, on the contrary, sharper?
Well, I mean, maybe it's a focus thing. Maybe it's, Cerrone is a guy who's talked about the mental side of the game, as I've said at the top. Maybe it keeps him on his toes. It makes him more anxious. It makes him...
He doesn't know where
I don't know.
He stands a little bit.
I'm just saying, am I wrong for saying that in the span of, what was that, like a 4-minute fight or something like that? Am I wrong that there was a lot of pleasantries, more
very
so than
reminiscent
usual?
Of Barry and,
that's what I said.
And Crow
more so than usual, right?
I'll say this, though.
Okay.
I think that it's easier to see when somebody's faking it, and I think Yancy putting more mental energy into pretending that he doesn't, or getting that kind of like aggressive attitude and pretending like, oh, we're going to war and we're not friends until after this, is almost more taxing than just being what it is. And he seems to have an affinity for Cowboy.
But from my perspective, I was like, that was a winnable fight for Yancy Medeiros, and I just wondered if he gave him a little too much respect.
It's fair. Only Yancy knows that, but it is fair to raise for sure because
I remember Pat Barry talking about that.
Yeah, the story of Fight Week was at the end of it was Yancy and Cowboy, their bromance, and it continued on Fight Night.
And I just wasn't aware that there was that kind of bromance.
Sure. Okay, we switch to Bellator, where Jon Jones, not that Jon Jones.
Oh yes,
the other Jon Jones. Made an appearance at Bellator 194. He was featured in a lot of places. Here's him getting his hands wrapped from the Bellator account. Here is him with Scott Coker, the legendary Jon Jones, sitting cage side, getting his hands wrapped. And here we see his hands wrapped. And then the man in the hat, Chuck Mindenhall, running into Jon Jones at the Bellator fights. Champion Jon Jones. I'm interested in the resulting conversation that happened there. I'd like to see it, maybe a long form.
This is so classic Bellator right here. This is so classic Bellator. Take a fun thing, take a clever thing, take a sort of viral thing, if you will, and then just beat it to death within the span of 3 hours. Now, I corrected my colleague, Mike Chiappetta, who wrote a great article on Saturday about just the state of Bellator and the state of things. He said that Bellator flew him out. They did not fly him out. He lives in Brooklyn, this Jon Jones, right?
Yes.
And if anyone doesn't know, it's at Jon Jones. He gets a lot of tweets. He's a guy who was never an MMA fan, but then the fighter Jon Jones kept messing up. He would get these tweets, and every time he would mess up, people would send the guy tweets. So he became somewhat of like a cult hero, if you will, to MMA nerds like us, right? Is that fair?
Absolutely.
And he's fun, about it. He does fun interviews, skits, and things like that. And he seems like a guy with, a great personality. And so for whatever reason, Bellator has this idea to bring him out. And to me, this is one tweet. Wow, look at it. Jon Jones is here. Or maybe a series of tweets where you don't reveal, and then it's like a wink, wink, this Jon Jones.
Here's Jon Jones.
I tweeted about it. I was like, I can't believe he's here. And it got over 2,000 it got over like 2,000 retweets, I think, last I checked on Friday night, like in the span of minutes, because, some people thought that it was the real Jon Jones, although I did put the winking emoji. But then, the wrapping of the hands and now you're just ruining it. Now you're just ruining it. Just do it once, a tease, a reveal, and then just let it be. It's great. It's nice little subtle marketing, tune in, no bait and switch, no one likes that. But it was too many tweets. It was too many tweets. It's like the Fedor sweater.
That's fair. I wouldn't put up too much fight on that. But if you have him there, I guess if it almost feels like you're not using him if you don't do more. You know what I mean? Like, you have him there. You thought this was the direction you needed to go, so you have to kind of figure out ways to utilize it. I get that, though.
Utilize it. He's just like a fan. His claim to fame is that he's got the same name as Jon Jones, and he had the Twitter handle first. Like, what do you utilize? This is not like a long build type of thing. You know what? Like, this was one tweet. Bellator has like celebrities come to their shows and they don't even acknowledge them, you know, on Twitter this many times.
Jon Jones, he's powerful in the MMA game. He's the best fighter of all time.
I know this will sound like I'm hating on the guy, but I'm not.
No, and it's not even about Jon Jones. I get it. You know, you're talking about
there's a sort of nuance to it all. You know what I mean? Like, you have to kind of get the way to do it.
It's a little heavy-handed, but I thought it was fun, and I thought it was a good idea. Maybe you're right, though. We could have reduced it to a few. I mean, Chuck not helping the cause, putting it all out there. Jeez, Chuck. Okay.
Seriously.
Also from Bellator.
Way to break kayfabe, right?
This dude getting into the froggy leap over here.
What was up with this? You're telling me that this deserved to be on the prelims over Hardy Ulaton?
Oh, boy.
What?
Anyway,
I'm saying this was so bad, right?
No. I wasn't reacting to that. I was watching this over again.
Oh, okay.
I mean, okay. Moving on. Shorty Torres, guest of the show last week, competing at Titan FC 48 over the weekend, and holding on to his title here with an incredible knockout. Seems like he's been knocking on the door for a minute. When is that door going to open? You know, we don't know, but
friend of the
just
program
continues to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, now he has. He's a Chicago guy.
What more does he need to do?
He's a 125er who's finishing guys, and they need. Obviously, they always need new blood at 125. He's got the champ thing going for him.
He's on the UFC Fight Pass platform. Fight Pass. Put him back on Fight Pass and.
Exactly. Chicago. Yeah. Boom. It's a no-brainer, right?
No-brainer. Congrats to Shorty. Okay. From LFA 33 on Friday, Kevin Worth, with what many have deemed a sweet chin music.
Tremendous.
It is that. If nothing else, it is a sweet chin music. He didn't strike up the band exactly, but see how I dug into that wrestling knowledge. Congrats to Kevin. What a kick. And I feel like his opponent is done there, but just finishing it off. Well done, Kevin. Beautiful kick. Okay. This one went bonkers last week. Logan Nash. It happened last weekend, but the video just came out this week. Logan Nash doing the bat hang celebration. I assume you saw this, yes?
Mm-hmm.
What do you grade this? What do you think of that as a celebration?
It was okay.
That's it?
Yeah,
I love this.
I mean, I don't know.
It's innovative. We have so few new celebrations. Oh, look at that.
I'm just rewatching. I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
It's cool.
What do you want me to do? I don't know.
I don't know.
What do you want me to do?
I thought you'd be more excited. I was excited. Now you've.
What was so exciting about it?
Because it was new.
All right.
Okay. Moving on to a Muay Thai fight. This one, I have the details on. This is from earlier in the month, but again, like the bat hang, the video surfaced this week. Robbie Drought competing at Siam Warrior Super Fights, an Irish Muay Thai event, pulling off essentially an enziguri, I think we can call it. Mm-hmm. Getting his leg grabbed and then finishing it off as he gets swept. Boom. And apparently this wasn't a knockout, meaning this fighter got up but then was TKO'd later. But this was not a knockout blow. So credit to his opponent who took one flush and then kept fighting. But incredible kick.
And it gets the SportsCenter rub.
It gets the SportsCenter rub. Robbie Drought getting it done.
Incredible. I'm surprised this wasn't tweeted out by Chase Sherman first. He's all over these videos.
This one took some time. Because as I said, it happened earlier in the month.
Yeah.
And then the video didn't surface. But
these things happen.
A channel, Fight Store Media, did put this out this week.
No one jumps on these kind of videos more than Chase Sherman.
Look, I mean,
that tweeter extraordinaire.
Get those clicks, get those views. Yeah. Okay, Marcin Held.
Yes.
Also competing on the Fight Pass platform at Polaris Jiu-Jitsu event. Getting the tap here. I like this. I like when the competitors are able to the UFC competitors are able to compete a little bit outside of the MMA. I feel like jiu-jitsu obviously lends itself to that a little bit more than anything else. You know, there's a lot of risk there, a lot more risk there in potentially a striking event, a kickboxing fight or a Muay Thai fight.
It also helps that it's on Fight Pass, so there's.
But yeah, there is a synergy. Congrats to Marcin. Fantastic submission. Expect nothing less.
Yeah.
Okay, now we go outside the cage to the Daytona 500 and one Tyron Woodley, welterweight champion, running into another champion, Peyton Manning. I mean, look at how big he is. Also, look at his the size of his melon. What a monstrous dome.
Wait, who are you talking about here? Peyton?
Peyton.
Okay.
Why? Tyron?
No, I don't know.
Tyron's perfectly proportional. How dare you? But not the only champion at the Daytona 500. Joanna champion.
Oh, yeah.
Also at the Daytona 500. Seems super excited about it. I feel like all these first ever opportunities that she's getting, she documents them well. Here we go. Now we go inside the car with her. Now, does that not look as fast as you expect it to look?
Yeah, well,
I'm assuming that that's super fast, but
do you think she's driving it or is
No. Remember they did the segment on one of the Fox shows where they had Bisping and Tyron in the cars. I don't think they'd let them get behind the wheel.
Fast car, #awesome. No, I mean, yeah, maybe it's not as fast, but why should she go fast? Oh, she's talking to someone.
Yeah, she's talking to the driver.
Do you have any desire to do this?
I would love to do this. I would love to drive it, actually.
Seems like a very foggy day in Daytona.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
I would love to get behind the wheel.
Can you imagine, there's all those people there, so much pressure. Jeez.
Okay.
Yes.
Court McGee. Worth highlighting. I'm going to read the caption here. We see him receiving an award in a sling, healing up. Had an incredible experience today at the Utah State Capitol building. The Utah State Legislature awarded me a certificate of recognition, honoring me as a professional athlete and for my contribution to the youth of Utah in substance abuse awareness. Big thanks to Senator Howard Stevenson and Representative Mark K. Roberts for presenting me with this award. So, good guy, Court McGee, getting commended, recognized for his contributions to the substance abuse awareness programs in Utah.
Amazing guy, and a great honor. I was happy to see this.
Yeah, continuing to kind of push the sobriety message and help.
Is his arm in a sling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Healing up.
Kudos to him. Oh, why do you have to?
No, we have to talk about this, Ariel.
I thought it was just positive things on Rick's pick.
This is positive because we're gonna wish him. We're gonna wish him well.
It hurts. It actually hurts. Just go ahead.
Devin Powell suffered an injury in training. We're gonna read his message here. Thanks to the fine ambulatory services in Wells. What is that? Maine? What is ME? Maine? Yeah. Okay, we'll go Maine. I'm checked into the hospital and ready for surgery. Shout out to Joe Lozon. Or is it Massachusetts? Who knows? No, that's MA. Shout out to Joe Lozon. We've been practicing knees on the ground. He successfully ruptured my testicle with his sheer power. His opponent has no chance in April. Now to get the blood clot drained and the goods repaired. I waited a day and a half to be seen. Word for the wise, if you hurt yourself, go get checked out. And then he makes an appeal to Dana White and Sean Shelby about fighting on an upcoming UFC event in New York. Quite the comeback story. Share this and help me get the ball rolling on my next fight and follow my journey, pun intended. Jeez. Devin, wishing you only well in recovery from
How can a man
ruptured testicles.
be that happy? Right?
He's using it as an opportunity.
And I look at it, I'm in so much pain. It makes me
Would you not want to follow the behind the scenes, like the countdown style story of him recovering from a ruptured testicle to fight in New York City?
Devin Powell, you're a great guy. You're amazing. I mean, look at that smile. But I can't take this story. It makes me so uncomfortable. When I was in Syracuse, there was I was in a class. I think it was ethics, journalism ethics. It was like my first semester there, and they showed us a video. And I don't really remember what the point of the video. I think it was something about reporting.
This is going somewhere
great. It showed us a
great,
video
I'm sure.
about someone getting paralyzed.
Okay.
And I get very squeamish when it comes to these things.
Of course, yes.
And I started to get lightheaded.
Sweat.
I was like blacking out. I had to leave the class, and then I just started like openly weeping. I just couldn't control myself. And this reminded me of that. Like when I saw it,
and this was just a written story?
No, we watched a video about it.
Okay.
And it's just like, it was too much. It was too much. And this is even worse.
This is also incongruent.
This is even worse.
With
the knees. He was practicing knees. Could you imagine what the ruptured testicle?
Look, Joe Lozon.
Oh, my
Joe Lozon's
God.
got the knees.
Oh.
Avoid Joe Lozon's knees. That's the lesson here that we've learned.
Listen. More power. I wish we could all handle adversity like this man. All right, he is an inspiration to all men all across the world. Honestly, I'd like to have a picture of him on this wall just to remind us what
can happen,
what
the
overcoming. I know. I don't want this picture. I just want a picture of his face, because he's a hero. That being said, this story makes me uncomfortable.
Get well soon, Devin.
Yes, get well soon, my man.
Very soon,
please.
Okay. Jon Jones returning to social media.
What was this all about?
Putting all haters on blast. Let me talk to my haters. Blame my greatness on things you simply will never understand. Hard work, passion, suck one. It's succinct. It's definitely succinct.
So what is he saying? People are saying that.
I think people are saying he's taking shortcuts. But he is all about hard work, passion, dedication, all those things. Not about shortcuts. And I think this is apropos with his impending case, his trial coming up. He also posts on Instagram, "No, I am not on steroids. You're just a pussy."
Interesting.
A similar message, but not as succinct, or more succinct, but not as eloquent.
Now, what does being, that word that he's using, what does that have to do with whether or not he is or is not on steroids?
Yeah, I think this is more of
you're just a coward.
What's been colloquialized. Yeah.
I will say this. I feel for public people like Jon Jones who may be innocent, right? And have to do it is so direct. There was a time 50 years ago when you do something, you don't do something, you're innocent, you're guilty, and it just kind of happens. It comes and goes, and you have to face the music, internally with your family and friends when you're out on this. But now, you are just it has to be exhausting, right? If you're that connected to social media like he is, to see the constant comments. So I understand the sentiment. Do I think it was necessary? No, but it just seemed like a weird. Maybe because the news came out, officially last week. Marco Monday reported February 27th. So maybe that kind of sparked it, but it just sort of seemed like, why now, right? I don't know.
There's never a bad time to take shots at all your haters.
Okay.
Especially if you're Jon Jones. You don't have much else going on. You got to train, and you got to keep those haters in mind to keep the motivation up. Okay. Conor McGregor with a very touching post wishing Floyd Mayweather a farewell in retirement. He says, "I am happy for Floyd in his recent announcement that he's out of these current fight negotiations. It is the reason I never seek the rematch in the first place. I was happy for him in retirement. My game is a very unforgiving one. It is not like other games. I understand completely him staying retired. I will now carry on in my negotiations and see where it goes. Have a great retirement, Junior. Now come here and give your old man a hug for old time's sake. I'm proud of you, son. Yours truly, Senior." Conor McGregor using an image of what looks like them tying up to represent that he's Floyd Jr.'s father. But I thought it was nice. It was nice of him to wish his competitor well and officially denounce a fight between the two.
Is he officially denouncing it, or is this?
Hey, he's moving on. He's carrying on.
Do you believe that
his game is unforgiving? No, of course not. But I don't think it's any more likely to happen at this moment.
I'm very conflicted here. I need to use my words. I need to choose my words wisely, because this, I'm a big Conor McGregor fan. I love covering him. It has been so much fun. It needs to stop. It really does. We need to move on from this. It was great. You made a lot of money. I loved covering it, but please, no more Floyd stuff. It is cringeworthy at this point.
I think this post will put it to bed.
You think so? Well, that's my question.
I truly do. I think if it comes back up, it will not be because Conor is bringing it back up.
Conor McGregor is one of the greatest fighters of our lifetime. He is one of the most influential athletes in the world. He is the most influential UFC fighter ever. He is the most influential MMA fighter ever. He's one of the greatest fighters to ever live. He is so much fun to watch in MMA. I don't want this anymore. I don't want the sideshow. He is better than this. He, I believe, can make the same money in MMA that he made in this fight. If he continues to be great, if he continues doing his thing, why can't he demand $100 million on his own? Why does he need Floyd? He doesn't. Continue to be great at what you're great at. Michael Jordan, when he went to try out for the White Sox, it was cool, but then it wasn't cool anymore. I want to see you back doing your great things. We miss you. I miss you dearly. Trust me.
I think he's getting the itch.
God, I'm so tired of it. And then, like, I see this story last week, Floyd Mayweather and CM Punk. What is this? What is this? Honestly, what is this? Where did this come from? Why are people debating this?
I think what it was is...
I saw MMA Junkie tweet out about Floyd Mayweather and CM Punk, I swear to God, 30 times last week. Why are we talking about Floyd Mayweather versus CM Punk? This is lowest common denominator stuff. I'm sorry, but this is lowest of the lowest. Why are you talking about this? This is just gratuitous. Stop it. We're better than this. Enough. Floyd Mayweather versus CM Punk, really? Come on. What is this? It's not even being talked about. It's not even being discussed. If it's being discussed, fine. If it's a thing, fine. But it's not a thing. So stop willing it into existence. Because guess what? Guess what happened the last time we willed something into existence? You remember? Stop it. Enough. I want to see Conor McGregor talking about Khabib and Ferguson. I want to see him talking about Nate Diaz. Fine, give me Nate. Max Holloway. That's all great. Keep that going.
Speaking of some of those people. Wait, did this go out of order? Okay. Anyway, we'll return to that.
Yeah.
Alexander Gustafsson here posting a picture throwing a knee at Daniel Cormier, tagging Luke Rockhold, saying, your teammate is holding my division hostage, and you think there are only easy fights at light heavyweight. If you think Romero hits hard, then wait till you come to the big boys. I want Daniel Cormier, and knocking you out will keep me warm in the meantime. Beware of coming up and wait, because I will be standing at the front door waiting. Solid, calling his shot. He wants Rockhold when he comes up.
I thought it was a swing and a miss, if I'm being honest.
Well, Daniel Cormier swung the hammer back and knocked him out with nice timing, Alexander. Kick him while he's down, huh? I got a better idea, though.
Yes.
That he doesn't fight you next. He fights Robert Whittaker. I mean, sometimes that happens, right? You lose your way into a title shot. Hashtag the Gustafsson way. That is a mic drop.
That was good. That was good on DC's part. And it was nice to see him stick up for his guy. But to me, the time to reach out to Luke Rockhold was days before the fight, before he got knocked out. I kind of feel like there needs to be a moratorium on calling people out after they get knocked out. There needs to be like a bit of a grace period. The timing felt off. When Rockhold said in the scrum before 221 that, it's imminent that he's going up, that's when you call him out. That's when you get in the line.
This is why I disagree. I think Rockhold and anybody who's knocked out in this fashion is at their most vulnerable now.
What?
You're able to needle them a little bit more. The things that you say to them will make them a little more anxious to shut your mouth. Whereas before, the animosity isn't as easy to conjure up. They have their focus. They have things ahead of them. I think that in this moment, it's a lot easier to get somebody annoyed. It's a lot easier to say to Rockhold.
Knocked out like 2 days ago.
Who's going to be more upset than that person? Who's going to be easier
also,
to
you fight in a weight class
needle?
that's 20 pounds above this man.
Well, I mean, is there any secret that Rockhold would consider a move to light heavyweight?
I don't know. I thought the time to have called him out was days before the fight, not after the fight. It's not like he's going to accept the fight now.
No, he's not going to accept it now. But
what are you calling him out now?
He'll remember this. I assure that he will.
Of course, I have no doubt that he would want the fight. I just thought that they should have done it before.
Here we go. Going back to Conor McGregor. Here, posting a clip saying this is before he tore his ACL.
This is good Instagramming right here. This was good stuff.
It was when I faced off against the current featherweight champion, Max Holloway, who I dismantled before and after this ligament tear to win a lopsided victory. It was father against son in there. He's everybody's father, apparently. And it's just my second UFC bout. Young Max is a hell of a fighter. I wonder what the future holds for my young Us. Ligaments are needed in a fight, definitely. Some can fight on, however, whereas some cannot. I always think there are moments in your career that can make you or break you. I've had many in my storied career, and this was most certainly one of them. God bless Boston Strong. So paying tribute to
this was good stuff.
Boston, telling Max Holloway that he's interested in his career.
Yeah.
A little bit of shade, calling him his son.
But by the way, can we go thoughtful on this? Because the interaction between Conor and Kavanaugh is the best part of the clip.
Here we go.
Okay, wait for it to end because it's not. I feel great. My favorite part is like, do you want some water? And he's like, like he's just considering it at a party.
More water? Okay.
It's a
great clip.
It's incredible. This was good stuff. Now, what is a Us?
It's like I don't know the actual. The Usos from
Wrestling?
From wrestling. I think Us is like an islands thing for like either like friend, brother, something like that. Let's look up exactly.
Because the Usos are spelt with an S.
A slang term for a Samoan person literally means brother. So Us is like, brother, close friend, brother.
Okay.
Like bro. And so
Rada.
That was not unseen by one Max Holloway.
Okay.
Responding with his own. This was moments after I dabbed in the octagon with my son after a fight in Detroit, Michigan. It was when I faced off against a former featherweight champion and legend Jose Aldo, who I stopped for the second time. It was a great legend against me in there that night in just my first title defense. Aldo was a hell of a fighter. I wonder what the future holds for my Brazilian brother. Getting paid is needed in a fight, definitely. Some can find the motivation to defend no matter what, however, whereas some cannot. I always think that there is a moment in your career that makes you a true champion. It's when you find the motivation to keep earning what you already have, to defend. I have had one in my blessed career, and this was most certainly the first of many. #blessed era. Subtle, but replying strongly.
He is quick.
To Conor McGregor. They're some can find the motivation to defend no matter what, however, whereas some cannot.
Wow, that was deep. What the hell was that? What did you just say?
Some can find the motivation to defend no matter what. However, whereas some cannot. It's
this is a quote.
He's twisted Conor McGregor's.
Okay, I thought you were saying this about the motivation to tweet back.
No. What? Come on. That's a direct quote. I'm cherry picking the line. This is the line.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, it's late. It's late in the show.
Yeah, it is.
But
it is.
Max, continuing to prove that he's on the social media throne. Replying to Conor McGregor. Now, it seems that everything he's doing is always in response to Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him go on the offensive a little bit.
Yeah,
Maybe get Conor's attention.
I agree with that.
But everything seems to be dictated by Conor. He's the leading the dance.
That's the other thing that bothers me about the Floyd thing. It's like Floyd says something, then Conor says something, then Nate says something. Floyd, Nate.
Yes.
It's like it's the same thing every time.
This time, I don't think Nate needed any prompting for what he did on Sunday.
Well, that was just a whole other ballgame.
That one was all Nate. This one I thought was fun from Conor McGregor. Playing a little bit of arcade with his son.
Street Fighter.
No, this one's not Street Fighter.
What is that? Mortal Kombat?
No, this one's like another fighting game. I don't.
No, but because I saw.
There was a clip of him playing Street Fighter.
He got this custom. You see this?
Yep.
He got a custom thing with like old games on it.
Yeah, 1,000 different games. This one I don't think is Street Fighter, but maybe correct me if I'm wrong. If it's like a different version. But
look at little Conor. He's so cute with that hair. Look at that hair. He
clearly got skills on the sticks.
Oh my.
Okay. Here we go.
Great.
We had Sports Center earlier. Now we've got another clip from ESPN here.
Bothered me, but apparently didn't bother Keanu.
Watch the curtain. Here it goes. Shooting the free throw. Out comes Ryan Bader, wearing nothing but
This is brilliant.
his Bellator championship belt and shaking a shake weight.
Man.
Now, unfortunately, it didn't work. The player sank both his free throws. But more on this is that this is called the curtain of distraction.
Brilliant.
A staple at his alma mater, Arizona State.
Yeah.
So trying to distract Arizona, the Arizona player shooting free throws, we get Ryan
With two
Bader
Pikachus.
and two Pikachus. The video game tie, you see how I transitioned there from Conor and Conor Jr. playing on the sticks? Now you get Ryan Bader with two Pikachus.
We're big fans of Pikachus in my household.
As well, you should be. Pokemon is
Pokemon. I was
legit.
never into Pokemon as a kid. It's a little weird that my kids are into it now because I can't quite.
It came back around. You wouldn't think that, years after you.
Yeah.
Were
But no,
potentially
he's
exposed
not.
to
He's
it.
not a Pokemon Go guy. I just think a friend of his introduced him, and I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get the show. I don't understand what's going on in that show.
I don't know. I can't speak to it. I used to watch it when I was a kid, but I can't speak to it now. I don't know if it's even the same show. But if it's the same show, I get it.
This is great stuff.
Ash was the man.
Do you think anything was under the belt?
I
Was he wearing
don't.
anything?
I think he did it. I think he did it raw.
No,
I think
no,
he did it real.
He did. Of course, he was wearing something. Are you nuts?
What do you mean?
He's just hanging loose there.
Yep.
What's wrong with you?
I do. I have faith that
There's college students all around him.
that's okay. Look, it's Arizona State. I'm
He's
sure
wearing
they've seen
black. You
I'm
see it
sure
right
they've seen
there. You
stuff
see
like
he's
this all the
wearing like a
time.
little Speedo thing.
Listen, you examine this a little too closely. We're gonna move on.
All right. What is that thing called? The shaking thing.
Shake weight.
Okay.
Okay, this was sent to me earlier today.
Oh yeah.
Patty, the baddie,
Returning to action this weekend.
reading mean tweets. We've seen variations
Oh,
of
this
this
is
from many
great.
different athletes, but let's listen into
Also,
it.
that's Meatball Molly. Molly McCann.
Meatball should be in the kitchen making our lunch. You'd cry if I ever find you, lad.
I hope Claire says I hope Paddy gets a career-ending crack, then a good haircut. I just hope you do something with your life, lad. Know what I mean? You're sat on Twitter moaning about other people doing something with their life while you do nothing. Sit indoors and be a keyboard warrior.
Christian says fight someone with a good record and no more cons. I bet anyone I fought to knock you out a little tip.
Oh, here he is again, Christian.
Oh, well, yeah.
There he
Oh.
is. That has to be the worst haircut in history. That's a proper bad shout, that lad. Know what I mean? I know
I love
Mark
that
wants
accent.
The Gail Platt look, but people have Mohicans and that are bad. Hey.
Eric says a clean counter will KO here and have here in big trouble. Paddy says the best lads ghosts don't get knocked out.
You haven't seen her take a shot in the gym, lad. Hey.
No, all the
She
lads-
sees people counting, bingo, and she just keeps coming forward, lad. Again,
I understand, like,
this
every
guy
sixth
should kill
word.
his barber. Looks like a spaniel. I'm going for
All about the hair.
Labrador look, to be fair, lad. What do you think?
See,
I
this
reckon
was the
I'm
best
flying,
response he
mate.
had
I
to
reckon
it
goes.
because you gotta kind of play with it.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't
yeah.
go back and be like, oh, you have to kind of let them get their frustration out.
Good stuff.
But
Cage Warriors.
Cage Warriors delivering some good video content.
Yeah. Cage Warriors 90 this weekend.
Okay, friend of the show,
Oh.
Devin Sawa,
Oh.
his son Hudson, taking day one of jiu-jitsu here, landing some takedowns. He sent this and he was begging. He was like, "Oh, please, make sure on Rick's pick."
What is up with
And I
you
had to
two?
do
Constant
a
arguing.
favor. There's no argument.
It's just constant hatred. If I'm being honest, it feels like it's coming more from him.
I know. Look, he's angry. He's upset. I don't know
About
what
what?
about, but I only have love for him.
No Casper 2?
Damn.
Listen.
Damn. I appreciate you having my back. on this.
You come, what is it? You come at the king, you bet.
Come in the king, you best not miss.
Yeah.
But congrats to his boy Hudson. I also started the journey. He looks better than me already.
What do you mean you
Haven't
started the
been-
journey? You did like one class
No, I
8
did-
months ago.
Listen, I did 5 classes.
Yeah.
And I haven't been back since because I had a baby. Look,
right.
is that not a good enough excuse?
I
I've
mean,
not been able to
You
find
had
the
a baby
time.
like what? Like 6 months ago now.
What?
What do you
I
mean?
wish. She's as big as a 6-month-old,
Yeah.
but she's only 3 months old.
That's it. 3 months. Wow.
Yeah.
Well done, Hudson.
She's a
Looking good there. I like the form.
Yeah, well done, Hudson. Shout out.
Nice
Not
take.
to your father though.
By the way, I like the
Only
black
Hudson.
gi.
Yeah, solid.
Well, because it makes the white belt stick out more. I think it's cool. It's very Cobra Kai-esque,
It does look good.
right?
Yeah, look, maybe there's a movie in the make. Aren't they bringing that
Yes,
back?
they are. They are.
I think they're bringing that back on Netflix. Okay. Last one. I promised I'd do a shout out for Phil, the MMA dude,
Okay.
because he was tweeting me. I think he was at Glory 50 in Chicago on Friday.
Were you at
He was
Glory
tweeting.
50?
I was at Glory 50. Fun show and welterweight title switching hands. Congrats to Harut Grigorian. He was there, and he picked every single fight except for one out of all 9 fights that went off. So I was impressed with that.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but he bet on both Cowboy and Derek Lewis.
Wow.
As straight bets and a parlay here showing his winnings on my bookie. So congrats,
How much
Phil,
he
the
win?
MMA dude. Let's see. I don't have my glasses on. He bet 40 to win 40 on the straight bets, and then he bet, what is that, 22 to win 26? Austin, help me out. It's the gray text on the bottom. Anyway, it looks like he's won in the neighborhood of $60-ish. And he will be PayPaling that to me for the shout out. So Phil, the MMA dude, you can send that to my email.
Hashtag kickboxing hipsters.
Hashtag Mystic Phil as well. Shout out to you, Phil. That's it for Rick's Picks this week.
Okay, let's get to the questions.
Let us get to some questions.
Don't got all day here, you know? How about that Platinum Perry? Could have talked to him for hours.
I was feeling it. I mean, it seemed like he could have stayed for hours. He propped his feet up
I know,
real
it was
early.
great.
Did you think about saying, "What are you doing in my house with your feet up"? Like, did you even consider it for
Platinum
half a
Perry.
second?
Talking about time in the slammer. I'm letting him do whatever he wants. He
I
could have
think
taken all my bobbleheads.
I think that's the right move.
Yeah.
After we also heard about him shoving Jeremy Stevens to the floor and saying,
man.
"What are you going to do about it?" And you know what?
See, there's a look. in his eye.
He's a performer. Everything he does is a perform. He's a showman. Inside the cage, outside the cage, retelling that story. The faking drunk when he was talking about coming out of the porta potty with the cigarette and the 40.
Gosh.
The way he was able to get the one eye flittering.
Yeah. Good.
No doubt about it. He's got a career after MMA. Okay, we start how we start every week. Question of the day from Ariel Helwani. Who is the star of the weekend in MMA? The choices were Matt Mitrione, Donald Cerrone, Derek Lewis, Nate Diaz, and Friend.
Who wins?
With 12,000 votes in, Nate Diaz and Friend, 46% of the votes. 31% Donald Cerrone, 20% Derek Lewis, and only 3% for Matt Mitrione, pulling up the rear.
Wow.
But I think we're in agreement. Are you in agreement there?
Well, I mean, it was kind of, tongue in cheek. There weren't a lot of pressing things to come out of this weekend, so I thought, you know what, there were some good performances, but it's just amazing. It just goes to show what we were saying earlier, how the guy can do so much with so little.
He stole the show, no doubt about it. Question number 2 this week from Ariel Helwani. Do you like Sunday night UFC cards? With 16,000 votes, 54% say yes.
Huh. Interesting.
46% say no. How do you feel about the Sunday night cards?
Well, I certainly don't like them when they're going up against the All-Star game. When there's, an off, when there's nothing going on, sure. I don't hate them. It's a little tough because people have to get up.
You have to go to work the next day.
Yeah, that's the part. You got to start them earlier. If you're going to do Sunday, it has to be like a late afternoon.
If MMA is not the profession, it's tough.
It's tough.
You got to get into work the next
Now,
day.
if it's a card if it's like a Fox card that ends at 10 p.m., then I think it's great. I think Sunday night sports are very well received. But if it ends at 12:30 East Coast time, let alone all the people internationally, then I think it's a problem. But again, I saw some people saying, like, why would the UFC do this? This is an FS1 thing. They had the Daytona 500. They're trying to keep people, in the Fox Sports world and use the Daytona 500 to, like, they did the same thing last year. Remember, it was the Nova Scotia card. It was Travis Brown versus Derek Lewis. That was a Sunday night, same time as the All-Star game. So it's kind of a set thing, but this is an FS1 thing. I would imagine, and even for the live gate, you're probably going to get less people than on a Saturday night, right?
Absolutely. I'm a no on the Sunday night. I could do without.
Yeah.
Give me the Saturday.
Tough.
Give me a Friday even.
I
But I'm
prefer
out.
Friday over Sunday.
I'm out on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think, and we addressed this, but let's just put a bow on this. Do you think, this is from Beryl Smile, do you think Medeiros hurt his chances at winning by being super nice with Cowboy during the actual fight? You would say yes. You'd say that he lost a little bit of an edge, yes?
Yes.
I would say no, but he didn't help himself.
It's impossible to know, It just seems like more often than not, the guy who's sort of initiating that, and it felt like he was initiating it, is the one who doesn't have his guard all the way up.
Yeah, I think Yancy Medeiros already had enough cool points with everybody. Like, I think everybody kind of likes Yancy.
For sure.
So I don't think it added anything to that. But I think it's who he is, and I think I was cool with it. I liked the bromance. I liked him embracing Donald Cerrone's grandmother. I was cool with it, but no, I mean, I personally don't think it affected him one way or the other, but only he knows. If it did, I think he'll just change that for next time. He'll go back and feel he wasn't as sharp and then change it. Or if not, he'll keep being cool and
it's not necessarily a thing that he's known for, right? I mean, he may just have a lot of respect for Donald Cerrone.
It may be specific to Cerrone.
It's not like a weakness in his game.
No, I think he's just an easygoing guy. I think that's kind of it.
That wasn't the time.
Yeah,
you know,
fair enough. After Derek Lewis's post-fight interview, which current fighter has the most entertaining post-fight interviews? I think Derek Lewis has got to be up in the discussion.
There's
for sure.
Few guys that okay, they're about to get on the mic. This is going to be good. Some that come to mind. Obviously, Conor McGregor.
Yep.
Obviously, Derek Lewis. Nate Diaz, as of late. Ali Quinta, as of late. I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch.
Matt Mitrione always delivers, I think.
Mitrione is fun. You don't know what you're going to get at times, but certainly fun. I always think DC is great, whether he's being like super honest or talking smack. I think he's very good. Bisping historically has always been good. The top draws are usually good. And some are good for other reasons. Like Rose has become very good, but obviously for other reasons. But yeah, like Derek, I knew he was going to say something.
Derek is a guarantee. Yeah. He's a lock. Newcomer, I think Israel is going to be good for a post-fight every single time. But you know what? For my money, pound for pound right now, it's got to be Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
You know you're getting something.
Yes, of course.
Don't know what it is. Maybe it's talking about his wife, his wife now, right?
Yeah.
What she has to look forward to when he gets home, but
it's something.
Always something with Derek. Okay. Does James Vick deserve a top 10 guy next? Is that where he falls?
1,000%.
Does he top 5? Top 5 or top 10? Where is his range?
It's a bit of a logjam up there, but top 10, 1,000%. I would argue top 7 or 8 at this point.
He's definitely earned this.
Oh my God, 9-1. Top 10 right now is Quinta, Chiesa, Nate Diaz, Kevin Lee. Honestly, like the Chiesa Pettis fight, I feel like that's a perfect one for him.
Sure,
and those are the two guys that he's been talking about.
There's only so long you put together a streak like he has. There's only so long.
By the way, Kevin Lee doesn't have a fight.
Yeah,
Nate Diaz, by the way, is ranked 8th. Nate Diaz hasn't fought at lightweight since December of 2015.
Yeah.
So
he deserves a spot there.
Right.
Finding an opponent's going to be tough for him. I don't think there's.
What are the rules to these rankings? That's why I advocated at the top of the show that they need to get rid of them because they're just a mess.
No, I don't think they're reflective of anything. That said, I think the names in that ranking are the right names, and I'd like to see him against one of those fighters for sure.
Like with all due respect to Josh Emmett, how is he ranked above Cub Swanson? Because he just knocked out Ricardo Lamas.
Made that case on Twitter.
And Cub, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I just saw that. But and Cub is above Lamas, yet it just doesn't make sense.
Cub made that case, wondering himself why that was. Okay. This will speak to more programming stuff. How does the UFC go over time so regularly? The main event started with 4 minutes left in the broadcast schedule, yet there was over half an hour of fluff in the broadcast.
I'll tell you why. There's nothing else at 1 a.m. on FS1. Make no mistake about it. FS1 loves this. FS1 loves it because even if there's 800,000 people watching these shows, that's way more than whatever else will be on at midnight on a Saturday or Sunday for them, right? If you just look at their other shows and what those ratings do. And so, the ad prices are higher. It's all gravy for them. This is live programming. This is what every network craves when it comes to sports programming. They want live. So let's stretch this out. I just think it's, here's a perfect example. And two things drive me nuts. Like it's midnight, right? Or it's approaching midnight. Please don't, this is not the time to do a whole package on Emmett versus Jeremy Stevens. I don't want to think about that card next week. It's not the time for that. And they do this all the time. The broadcasts are so formulaic. And then, so they do that. Like at that point, like you want to lock in on the co-main or or the main at that point. If you're going to get into the packages game, how about this one? Jared Gordon is about to fight. Unfortunately, he lost. We know, if you watch the show, he has an incredible backstory. He has been through so much. He has overcome so much. He's an inspiration. What about a little quick package on this guy? What about trying to sell this guy? What about trying to push this guy? Instead, I think they went to the studio and they were promoting and doing like some, generic breakdown on the main event. Like your prelims are littered with these little personalities. What about little packages on like pinpoint 2 or 3 and do something a little out of the ordinary? And by the way, it doesn't have to be something where you go to his house and follow him. Those are great. Sit down with him for, a few minutes on fight week. They're in the hotel. They're wasting a lot of time and put together something. Like these generic packages, like the Curtis Millender one, he's like standing there like this. It's like with this generic copy. The UFC broadcasts are so stale. And I'm really looking forward to this new deal and seeing if someone else can come in there and turn the whole thing upside down, because it is so stale at this point. I mean, everything about it is just so incredibly stale. And
I think we need more stories. That's it. We need more storytelling from the guys.
It's not just about throwing out fights and 2-minute promos. And it's amazing because like fans will get on me and they'll say like, "Oh, why are you so negative? You're always whining this and that." I love this sport more than anything. I've devoted my life to this sport. I try to provide for my family this sport. I say it because I love it and because I spend so many damn hours thinking and breaking down and watching this sport. If you don't feel that way, more power to you. But at this point, after all these years of watching it and not seeing evolve and seeing every other sports broadcast evolve, every other sports broadcast, there's innovations. They're trying things. They're taking risks. They're changing things up. And we're not going to even try. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Sometimes I have to stop myself because it's like, I know it could come across as like too much complaining, but it's just frustrating to watch.
I'm with you. We need something new in the broadcast.
They've got great personalities. Promote them.
Speaking of evolving and the product evolving, how do you guys feel the posters are evolving? And why
posters are getting better
to pay people like Boss Logic to do it rather than having the same posters as always?
I don't know. Maybe there's pressure. Who knows? I know Boss Logic does a great job. He's incredibly talented. He does stuff for Invicta. But let's give credit where it's due. The posters are slowly but surely getting better. I can nitpick all I want about the big guy over the little guy and all that stuff, and that is true. But the London one I thought was great because it catered to the local market. It was sort of a play on the underground. 223 is solid enough. I feel like slowly, but 209 was rock bottom.
Low point, yeah.
209 was rock bottom. 210 was rock bottom, but it was never worse than 209. And I feel like slowly but surely. Now, the bar is incredibly low. I think they could be infinitely better. But if 209 was the rock bottom, we've come some way since then.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think ultimately, like, we can obsess over this. But as long as the posters are not at least at rock bottom level, I think we can all, relax a little bit. But yeah, it'd be nice to see some fresh ideas. I think Boss Logic does a great job. There's plenty of other people out there, and I agree that the posters. It
has become a thing now, though, right? Like they announce the release of these posters. That wasn't the case. So they understand that there is attention being paid to these posters, and I do feel like they're doing a little bit of a better job. Are they formulaic at times? Are they generic? Yes. But since 209, it has gotten a bit better.
From old friend UFC Face Swap, what's worse, Kevin Hart and his friends, intro to the NBA All-Star Game, or Fergie sing of the Star Spangled Banner?
Honestly, the Kevin Hart thing.
You hated the Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I despised
it. One thing
it.
I noticed about that, like, they were looking for the biggest celebrities in the world when they did that. They were looking for star power. And one person I couldn't help but notice up there on the stage was an actor, a singer, a performer, a Grammy winner, an Oscar winner, one Jamie Foxx. I don't know if you noticed that.
I honestly didn't. Was he there?
Yeah, he was singing in like the skit thing.
I guess I tuned out.
Also there, but not on the stage, Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah. I saw more of Odell, to be honest. The only thing I saw of Jamie Foxx was when he was being interviewed by Michael Smith on SportsCenter, and the guy like referenced Katie Holmes, and then like a prima donna, he takes off his headphones and walks off. That's the only thing I saw. Did you see that?
He gave a great performance.
What was that all about?
On the stage.
What was that all about?
Odell Beckham's Instagram was incredible during the event. It was really, really
No, but really, what was that all about?
Listen, you don't want to talk about your personal life. That's not why you're there.
Personal. It was like, oh, have you been practicing with Katie Holmes? He saw something on Instagram.
Look,
it was an abomination. It was on. It really bothered me, and maybe I'm crotchety at this point. It bothered me on behalf of the players. Giannis Antetokounmpo deserves to have his name said correctly. He deserves to have his name said. Period.
Okay, but if you ask Giannis. He's of the age where somebody like Kevin Hart, like cracking on him, is probably.
I finally make it to the All-Star game, and I want some American actor making a joke about my name. No, I'm proud of my name.
I don't know for sure.
Let me tell you something. If and when I get to the All-Star game, because
wait, what?
If some 2-bit actor is going to be like, oh, here he is. Ariel Helwani.
Are we starting a feud with Kevin Hart right now? Are you
me and the rest of the internet? Did you go online while that was?
No, but 2-bit actor. Now we're like,
I can't tell you one movie.
This guy's in Jumanji, the #1 movie in the country.
Is that true? I thought The Rock was in that.
Yeah, he's also in it before Black Panther, which was awesome.
Listen, you know what? If you want to crack the jokes, fine. But can we at least make them funny? Like the fact, the fact that someone wrote down that Jimmy Butler has a Tupperware collection, and that was supposed to be a joke, and there were some other bad ones. By the way, why no mention of Kristaps Porzingis? The other injured guys got mentioned just because he wasn't there. They should have mentioned him.
It was weird. I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird. But anyway, I was offended. I really was. And so the Fergie thing, like at the time, I think I was still worked up that I didn't quite process it. And today I went back and listened, and yeah, it was
I get
off.
what you're saying. You worked your career and you got
you
here.
Deserve that
this
respect.
Is your moment.
Listen, I love I've talked about this enough. Like the All-Star game, I love it. I didn't think it needed to be fixed. I didn't think it.
Really?
Oh yeah, I loved it. I think this whole storyline, they're like, oh, look how much fun they're having because LeBron cared. I think it's hogwash. Like East versus West was fine. It was fine.
Oh no, this was way better.
Why? Do you really think that the players on Team LeBron wanted to win it for his name?
Yeah. Well, did you see LeBron and Kevin Durant shutting Curry down?
Yeah,
in the corner?
Was awesome. Because the game went to the final, but in the past it's gone to the final horn.
Last year the score was 200-200, Ariel.
No. Listen, you really
what do you mean? No.
Really think Kevin Durant was like, I need to win this for LeBron?
Yes. No, he was trying to win for himself. He was trying to win the game.
But it's Team LeBron. LeBron gets all the glory.
No, he doesn't care about Team LeBron. He cares about winning. No, they cared about winning. It was
Why
a
all of a sudden? Why all of a sudden?
It was a return to fourth quarter.
Why all of a sudden?
Defense.
Why all of a sudden?
Because
they applied
players
themselves.
Who drafted set the tone. Yeah.
That was kind of botched too. The draft should have been televised. It should have been done
but they didn't want to.
Friday night.
They don't want to hurt Al Horford's feelings.
Al Horford is a class act. He doesn't care about that. My point is, I love the All-Star game. These guys deserve the respect. They deserve to have their name said correctly and not have get the Lakers guy, PA announcer, say their name, get on with the game. Let's go.
I think they're of the age that they'll be okay with Kevin Hart joking on.
Well, you know what? I'm not okay with it. I won't stand for it.
Ariel, have you ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
No, clearly not. Is that? I mean, when was this sent? Was this sent after
during the show? Of course, you have not seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. But I feel like all the questions you asked Israel, I outlined for you already. Of course, what? I told you it was the last style bender, but you can also call him Style Bender.
This is on the air or off the air?
This is off the air.
Well, then don't break kayfabe, bro.
Okay,
I need to hear it from him.
What? You're right.
What's wrong with you?
Actually, it was good to hear kind of the genesis of it.
Nice save.
Okay. What are my thoughts? This is Nate asking on Liverpool's flawless performance in the Champions League last week. And when will Ariel see the light and become a red? Ariel, when are you going to join?
This storyline is worse than that whole Danny Segura, Sean Sheehan, EA thing. It is one of the worst storylines.
You know what?
In
You
MMA.
pretend to be this fan of football. You pretend to be this fan, but you're not.
Worst.
You're not.
Okay, go ahead.
Just don't care.
Answer the question. We can get on with it.
I mean, it was. You've already answered the question in your question. You called it flawless, and it was flawless. 5-0 doesn't get better than that.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
Stop it. You didn't watch it. This is the worst.
I did. You know what? Actually, I did.
Worst.
I did watch it. I didn't watch it live. I tuned into halftime and then watched the rest of it.
Listen,
But
you know what the tagline for SB Nation is? Our parent company.
No, actually, tell me.
Come fan with us, okay?
I want them to come.
Fan is short for what?
Fanatic.
You can't fake fanaticism.
You can't.
You can't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to be a fan of this team.
Oh, so is this an admission about Leicester City? Is that
No.
what you're getting at right now?
What? Just because I don't talk about it doesn't mean it's like yesterday someone DM'd me and he's like, oh, nice to see you paying attention to the UFC because like I only like tweeted about the UFC card like 6 fights in. And I'm like, excuse me, where does it say that I need to tweet and live score the fight past prelims? Just because I don't mention it doesn't mean it's not happening. Okay. So so my point is, you can't fake this sort of thing.
Of course not.
All right. So you can't just wake up. You've already admitted that you've woken up one day and picked a team. It's inauthentic. It doesn't work.
No.
Okay.
What it was my roots were revealed.
No.
It had come to light.
Put in the time.
And I'm a red. That's it.
Put in the time, 5 years. Take a trip out there. You know, buy a jersey, buy a kit for the family.
I'm gonna go with Darren Till. We're gonna have a nice time.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to a Leicester City game.
And then I will buy this shtick.
I'll do it for MMA fighting.
Until then,
we'll make a video.
It's a half-ass attempt to gain some.
I know your club is not doing so well right now, and it's making you a little angry. But just be happy. Just be happy, and join. Just join. See the light, as Nate says, and become a red. You're not the only hater out there, though. But that's it.
You're going to end on that note? Listen, the worst note ever.
No, the most important question of the week.
The worst way to end.
In fact, I expect it to be the question of the week next week.
Gosh. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Vitor Belfort, Lyoto Machida is happening in Rio, in case you missed that. Very exciting. How about Artem Lobov and Alex Caceres at UFC 223? What else? Greg Hardy wins his LFA amateur debut. Jennifer Maia has signed with the UFC, so another Invicta star is off to the UFC. How about Claudia Gadelha against Carlos Esparza in Chicago? A fight years in the making. Literally years in the making. Stevie Ray is back in the UFC. He has signed a 4-fight contract. He's fighting Cajun Johnson in London, so that is a nice story. How about Kyoji Horiguchi against Ian McCall, May 6th in Ryzen? That is very exciting. And Zabit Magomed Sharipov is fighting Kyle Bochniak, also at UFC 223. A lot going on, as always. Highlight some of that stuff. What are you highlighting your Liverpool nonsense? Cage Warriors 90 on Saturday. Also, UFC on Fox 28. Main card is on Fox. You know by now, Jeremy Stevens against Josh Emmett. The reason why I always want to say Jim Everett is because of the quarterback, formerly of the Los Angeles Rams. And I want to say one last thing before we go. I want to say to Alexei Olenek and his family, was very happy to hear that his daughter was okay. She is a student at the school in Parkland, Florida, which, of course, experienced that horrific tragedy on Wednesday afternoon. And I was very happy to hear that she was okay. Just a horrible scene. And it's amazing that we were talking about Sandy Hook last week when talking about the Roy Nelson, Matt Mitrione fight, because it happened on the same day and they were about to fight again. Something like this happened on Wednesday. It doesn't mean anything for me, but definitely still thinking about those kids and those families, and so impressed with how those kids, the survivors, have handled everything. But just a horrific week last week in the United States, and here's hoping that something finally changes and the politicians who lead our country will stop sending thoughts and prayers and start doing something about these senseless murders happening in our schools across the country. All right. On that note, you can hit my music, Austin. Thank you very much to everyone who tuned in this week. What a fun show it has been. Appreciate everyone who stopped by. So much going on, as I said, in the world of MMA, but I feel like we took the temperature today. We summed it up as well as possible. UFC in the books, Bellator in the books, but we start things up all over again this weekend. The train continues to roll along. How about that, Mike Perry? Wow, in studio, feet up, talking about picking up, garbage and cutting weeds off the highway. Incredible. incredible stuff. Really want to thank the UFC for bringing him by. I appreciate that very much, and I am looking forward to seeing how he rebounds on Saturday. By the way, that's a really good card. That is a really good card. We got our guy Brian Kelleher. It's not your typical Fox card, but again, the bar has been set low now, so it's the times have changed a little bit, but there are some interesting fights on that card. Brian Kelleher against Renan Barão, Mike Perry, Max Griffin, Ovin St. Preux against Aliro Latifi, Jessica Andrade, Tisha Torres, Josh Emmett against Jeremy Stevens, also Sarah McMahon against Marion Renault, Angela Hill's on the card, Ben Saunders. There is a lot to like there. There are some interesting names. So that is this Saturday afternoon. Okay, thank you very much to Mike Perry. Appreciate his time. Congrats to Elias Theodoro on the Ring Boy gig. March 24th, Invicta FC. Thank you very much to Yoel Romero. Good luck to him. Israel Adesanya. Great stuff out of him, and congrats again. All the best to Leslie Smith. All the best to Will Brooks. All the best to TJ Dillashaw. Again, congrats to one Matt Mitrione on the big win Friday night at Mohegan Sun. Back next week, same time and place. Till say peace.